What happened to Sonya Massey is exactly why we need to continue having conversations about defunding the police and why this conversation should have never ended in the first place. It's not just because what happened to her is so horrific and violent and senseless that the officer responsible was charged with first-degree murder right away. It's not just that the field of policing is inherently corrupt or the fact that it allows for this kind of brutality to take place time and time again unchecked. It's that Sonya Massey had paranoid schizophrenia and that she called the police asking for help, looking for assistance because she thought someone was in her home. And the result is that she lost her life. The reality is that what happened to Sonya Massey, while horrific, is not a unique situation. In fact, 30 to 50% of people unalived by the police have a mental illness or disability. And it means that not only are officers not trained to deal with situations where somebody might have a mental illness or a disability and therefore constantly respond out of fear or whatever, it means that they simply don't want to be, they don't have that empathy, and they carry that ableist prejudice into every single scenario they walk into. Because if you listen to the first half of the video, and again, I haven't watched it, I'm not going to, but I have heard bits and pieces of it, the officers ask her like leading questions, pulling her into a scenario where she could be perceived as a threat, as justification for whatever they were going to do next. Because they knew what they were going to do next, which is why they then, when they told her family what had happened, they called it a suicide. Because they knew the whole time walking into that scenario, they knew their biases and they knew what they wanted to do when they got there. And the reality is, that isn't a unique situation. That is the reality for 30 to 50% of the people that are unalived by police. So when we say we need to abolish the police or at least defund the police, this is why. Because this kind of prejudice cannot be reformed.